Aloha!
Aloha.
My name is Krista Laksmi-Ditton,
And I'm Michael Ditton.
and we are Infinite.
Activation.
We're coming to you today from San Diego,
Yes, southern San Diego.
and it is Christmas time.
Deck the halls.
Yeah. Today we would like to share a little magical story about Christmas and how actually this year will be 5 years ago when we met around Christmas time.
5 years.
Yeah.
Holy Toledo.
You still here?
Time flies.
Yeah. So it has been quite a journey since
Yes.
that day, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
No.
It has been all really amazing.
It's been a wonderful adventure.
Yeah. And 2 years prior to that, 5 years ago, Christmas time, I was in Pärnu. It's a little town in Estonia, in south of Estonia. And I was there with one of my girlfriends, and we were just kind of, looking around, shopping center, kind of girl fun. And then I saw the Santa Claus was there. So I kind of thought jokingly, like, okay, I'm going to just go and ask if I can ask him to deliver me or give me, bring me a man. And it was like kind of, really a joke. And then Santa Claus said, yes, of course. And I said, okay, wait here. I'm going to go and write my list so that Santa would know exactly who to bring, all the qualities and how he would look and all those things.
So all my perfections are not my fault.
Yeah. It's because it wasn't in the list, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. And then I went to a cafe and I wrote that list for 2 hours. And I still have that list. It's coming with the stuff from Hawaii.
You think after 2 hours I'd be perfect. I'm not.
Yeah, I tried my best. 2 hours was still, quite a lot of time.
Yes. Thank goodness you took 2 hours.
Yeah, think if it would have been more.
Oh my goodness, think if it had been less.
Yeah. Okay, so and I ran down where the Santa Claus was before, and he wasn't there anymore. So I was like, okay, now I'm not gonna get my man, but okay, what the heck, Went on with my life, 1 year went by, and second year went by, and I actually just this Christmas realized it was actually 2 years since that moment. I thought it was 1 year, but it came out it was 2 years. So 2 years around Christmas time, actually, I was back in La Cruz, Tehuanacatle, in Mexico, and I wasn't supposed to be there, but I just came back, and my friends were actually staying in a cultural center called Octopus Garden, and they invited me to stay with them, and we had like upper level kind of open room, no doors. Our doors were actually rolling up the
Old sails.
So it was kind of really interesting setup, but we had a really beautiful view to the village and a little bit of the ocean. So, and we lived all happily together there, and they also had a friend visiting who actually was supposed to stay downstairs in one separate room, but decided to just stay with us. So we were all 4 of us like staying out there. And then this guy was basically delivered by my doorstep 2 years after my letter to Santa Claus. So how did you end up there?
Yeah, actually, I wasn't supposed to be there either because I was up at my home in California and had a major life-changing event happen. And with that, I ended up going to my boat down in Mexico, and it was down in Puerto Vallarta, and was spending a little time reflecting on some things that were going on, and realized that most of my friends were up in La Cruz, which is where I used to hang out when I was sailing a lot there. So I took the bus up to La Cruz, and I wanted to stay up there, and there was really nothing available because it's really busy that time of year. It's a beautiful time of year there in December. But just before I was about ready to give up and head back to the boat, somebody said, did you check, with Octopus Garden, El Jardín del Popo? And just so happened some friends of mine owned that, and I hadn't talked to them in a while, and they had made up some rooms in there that I wasn't aware of. And so I went over there to check in with them, and as Crystal said, one of the friends that was staying upstairs where she was at was supposed to be in a room downstairs, the only room they had available, but because he stayed upstairs, that room was still available when I walked in. So I ended up with a room in the Octopus Garden, a cultural center there in La Cruz, the same place Crystal was at the same time.
Yeah, and that second floor used to be actually a t-shirt shop.
Well, they used to do imprinting on T-shirts for the Huichol Art Gallery down below.
Yeah, and they were about to basically take out all the equipment and turn it into a hostel.
Yeah.
And that was the time when we kind of popped up there. The owner actually had a really bad accident just like 6 months prior to that. So everything had been kind of in a transition and change for them as well. So we were all kind of like, guided together in this like really transitional phase. And we were meant to meet.
Yes, it was meant to be.
And then the first, maybe you also shared that first moment when you saw me actually, but we didn't actually meet.
Yeah, I remember it as plain as day. When I went in to talk to them about the room, I was communicating with the owners, and I felt the presence of somebody else there. And it's a gift that I've had my whole life to see and feel things that aren't really explainable, and I've never really done anything with it. And I dismissed it like I did any other time, but I knew that there was something going on there. And I had observed that there was a table behind us, and there was 4 people at it, 3 of which I could see the faces, and of course there was a gal with her back to me. Well, I finished up there and walked away, and I came back at a later time to move into the room because I had to go get some stuff and that. And when I returned, I was actually introduced to Crystal, and that feeling of somebody's presence actually hit me with a wave again. And I realized at that time that it was Crystal that was sitting at that table with her back to me, and I didn't even realize it at that time. So I did realize it when we were introduced, though.
Mm. And then we talked a little bit downstairs, and you were saying that maybe you would need some, healing and things. And then we actually decided to put together like a 2-week program. So Michael took absolutely every single therapy I was doing at the time. And our conversation actually ended up upstairs. So I was showing you the view. And I remember we sat down on the couch, and then I felt like this immense, intense energy, like I would really like to hug him.
Funny enough, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, but then I thought like, but I don't want to be like, doing things too fast or like kind of being like too pushy or whatever. But then I think, I don't know who was asking.
I asked if I could.
Yeah,
and because I had the same feeling.
Yeah, so and then our story started. But what is the point of sharing this with all of you is basically that just a month before that happened, I was like completely sure I will never find my, king, and I will just stay alone for the rest of my life, just doing my job, and that's it. Like I was just so devastated about men in general. And I actually started to make rearrangements in my life to change that, because I had done some really bad choices, and men had been also part of those choices. So I realized I have to really change some things like completely crucially, and then, make those changes. And, also kind of thinking, I'm an Estonian and I was in Mexico at the time. So what if I hadn't been, in Mexico? All that courage it took me, 3 or 4 years prior that, to take my courage and actually have that one-way ticket to Mexico, and then actually live there and start to work and do all those things. So it took like several, preparation years to get to that point, to that miracle of Christmas, the magic of Christmas, what we experienced there. And I really personally believe that also probably my father, who had passed away just like some years before, from the other side was also like, okay, I'm just really sick and tired that Crystal never finds the right guy. I'm gonna go and find that guy for him. And as a sailor, and he knew also that I like sailors, so he brought a sailor in. So my king didn't arrive on a white horse, but on a white sailboat. So that may happen. So yeah. So it's also really important to write down your dreams, and once you write them down, they start to actually manifest. Oftentimes we just walk around with our dreams in our heads, and the universe like just can't get like what is it you actually want. And then that's why I took that 2 hours. So here is the result. So it's actually, it can help you to create your miracles and your dreams. So maybe this is something you can also do during this Christmas time. What in your life needs to be changed, what dreams you have, and what could you ask from Santa Claus or whatever or whoever you believe in.
Yeah.
And then make it happen.
Yep.
So, and so this way, actually, both the Christmas time and also New Year's Eve is also very special, because New Year's Eve was kind of like our first official kind of date, or kind of like going out. So both of these dates are kind of really important to us, because every year they remind us about that magical moment, and also gratitude of being here, being in each other's lives, and also inspiring others with our story. We have now had several talks and events where we share our story, and oftentimes people actually come to us afterwards and say, thank you so much for sharing your story, it gives me hope. When I met Michael, I was in my late 30s, so I already like kind of, said like, okay, I'm no good anymore. I really tried. 15 years I was looking for my, guy. And it was just all these relationships prior to Michael were preparing me to meet my true king. And this is what I would also remind for all the ladies and also all the gentlemen, that this is how it goes. Sometimes you need to work it, and then as you are much clearer what you want and how, it will show up for sure.
Yeah. And sometimes you have to, people always say things happen for a reason. For most of you probably know how Crystal and I got together, the pain that we both had to go through at that time. A time that neither one of us thought we would ever find anybody again.
We were not looking.
We certainly weren't looking.
Yeah.
That's
both, the best time.
We were both dealing with a lot of things, but we found each other, and we became each other's support system and helped each other through that process. So from that pain came an awful lot of pleasure and beauty.
Yeah. And some of the weeks after you had been there, and kind of we started to actually also test, like we started the local movie club. And that was something which I really wanted to do, because I have like visual anthropology background. I love movies. I like what they bring out in community and people. So we started that club again. They used to have it before, but because of the changes, it had stopped. So we started it up again. And then Michael was MC. I was the tech girl and kind of, the promotion girl and all of that. So we had like superb teamwork, and we had like 100 people some evenings showing up. People could, was it tacos or stuff? What did you get?
Yeah, we did a couple.
Tacos
Yeah, we did a
something.
couple of tacos or enchiladas or something.
Yeah. So they got some food, and then got the community, and we got to really learn each other and learn each other's values as well. Like I remember Michael went away, and I had some other volunteers jumping up to help me, and we were just like, putting all the chairs together and so on. And some of the volunteers just said, "I'm tired, I'm going home." And I'm like, "What do you mean? Like, we are a team, we have to like finish all together if we have committed to it." And then I realized, like, wow, we are so similar on that with you, like, all out there doing it together, and then,
doing what it takes to get the job done.
Preparing, doing, and also cleaning up. So you do the whole thing. So that's really amazing. And I also think what was really maybe the core shift to the whole thing was that I just put my foot down and told myself that this is not okay to continue, prior meeting you, like continuing my relations the way it had been. So I understood that something needs to change in me. I need to change some maybe habits or the ways I am. And then just today when we went to dinner, I said, wow, I've noticed now other people who actually do similar mistakes I used to do. And I'm like, wow, like, I think I've really improved since that time.
Well, I mean, as we go through life, we always want to better ourselves to be the best that we can be.
Yeah, and I'm much softer on the edges now.
We work on it every day.
Yeah, So this is our little Christmas message to all of you, and send you lots of holiday blessings, and take care of each other and show some kindness and love and aloha. And we send you lots of aloha and everything you need. And please share this inspirational story with as many people as you know. And we have some really interesting stuff cooking right now, and more is coming up, so stay tuned, and there will be more amazing news in the coming weeks coming.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much.
Merry Christmas.
And all the best till we see you again.
Mahalo.